Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Martial Maze. I'm with my partner in crime, Barakulat Shidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
It looks like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is finally dealing with what the rest of us had to deal with for years. You know, and you'd figure they should have been prepared for it, but like with the Epstein files, you know, a lot of people coming out the woodwork now, saying a lot of things now. You know, and well, I was abuser. This was touching. People go, well, why? Why didn't you come forward and say things? And I can only liken this to the women that were recently on the news behind, was it Pam Bondi or whatever her name is,
yep,
and stuff like that. But, well, you know, all these people, a lot of people don't mind protecting diddlers or pretending it's just not happening in our dojos and in our schools or our academies. You know, and it just reinforced us, because I'm not saying that in judo we're immune. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But most of us in judo, we have safe sport, you know, or where we understand grooming. We take the classes and the courses, you know, and we really pay attention, whether it be guy on guy, guy girl, all that dynamic, right? And certain things are just frowned upon. I was telling you, and I was really looking for it because I really want to make the point and push it forward. And there's a female influencer who studies Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and some of her content was very, air quotations, racy, like raunchy. I said racy, raunchy. And as somebody who practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I can't pretend to know everything, but I know a lot of female Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners, and they're just not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Even when they go gi off or gi less, they you know, they're even the way they present, the way they move, the way they use the technique. I can't. That's why I really wish I had it to show, because you can tell there was a difference. And I understood that this person is still practicing, but it wasn't so much as that she's doing that. It's that she's literally at someone's academy doing that, you know, filming that in the background. And I'm thinking to myself, that's liabilities.
Yeah, who's allowing this? I see a lot of this on social media where you got women who are wearing these tight spandex pants. And they're doing these techniques. Some of them are just booty clapping and doing all kinds of things on the mat just to get the views.
Yeah. And
all right, it's all for views. And it's in someone's actual space. And they're actually allowing it. I see it enough times. I would never allow my females. They would never do that. I would never allow it.
I was just like, and for those that actually see it, and I'm going to work really hard to find it, because there is a difference. Look, we all wear compressions. Hell, I'm wearing compressions now. It's hard to articulate it if you're just listening to the show and stuff. But there's even women looking at it. If you look at the comments, and even the men commenting, and then another really high-end,
that's another
high-level,
thing, the men commenting.
Yes, another high-level BJJ practitioner recently had posted, you know, like going, hey, man, this girl, she's here, she's training, she's putting in work. I was really upset because I saw the comments. And but so, of course, I'm looking at the feed, and I'm going, ooh, I don't know. I would have stopped, said, hey, call a mate, or hey, yo, I would have pulled her aside and said, what you're doing right now looks more like you're going to sit on his face.
Well, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And
they know what they're doing.
You know, and it's not really you're working that position. It looks more like you're, okay, we need to clean this up a little bit. What's effective here? What isn't effective here? You know what I'm saying? But even with a lot of guys, I said, yeah, we're wearing cups. But, you know, ultimately, you know, you're putting your foot between somebody's crotch and all that other good stuff. Yeah, in the context of the flow or getting certain techniques done, boom, 2 thumbs up. If you're an owner of an academy, that could be a potential liability issue. You know what I'm saying? You can argue all the live long day. Well, no, I'm jockeying for position, but it's really easy to have bad touching or good touching look or appear to be bad touching or bad positions and stuff like that. And as an owner, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. As somebody who practices, I'm real big on boundaries. You know, again, hand slip every now and again. You know what I'm saying? Somebody steps through and a knee slide, bam, I'm getting clapped in, you know, in the testicles and stuff like that.
Or sometimes I have to scoop under the crotch to lift you up.
Listen, a high C is a high C, period. A high C is always going to be a high C. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, and those that wrestle know what I'm talking about. You know, and in the end of the day, that's why coaches in wrestling, the training is still there to pay attention because of the scandals that happened with wrestling and stuff like that. You know, any grappling art is intimate in the end of the day. You are in close proximity with another human being, and when the training sessions, because you're not trying to blast each other into next week, and if you are, you're training incorrectly. But you're going hard, or you're flowing, which is my favorite. I love flow rolling because I feel like I get more out of that than I do when I'm just rolling. And less injury for me too. The older you get, it just flow rolling just makes more sense and stuff like that because you're still pressure testing, but you're not dealing with the spazziness of needing to go 1,000 miles and then drop 1,000 miles, and stuff like that.
It's a very white belt thing to do.
Well, you know what? No,
but it's a good thing. It's a positive.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you what. Well, I guess I'm still a white belt, so yeah, I guess because I'm gonna tell you what, man.
But you're seasoned.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you try not to tell anybody that.
But no, it's a typical thing that beginners do. They spazzy. You go sporadic, and they're all over the place. And that really tests.
I normally get that from wrestlers.
Yeah,
wrestlers come in. And they got one mode, 5,000 miles an hour. They ain't playing.
They're not playing.
Yeah.
And so that really tests your skills, but it also shows how well they can come as hard as they want, but you're still remaining to be soft and controlling them. And so that's superb skill, and that's what you should do when you're more advanced.
No, that is no, I agree. Yeah, so they're finally dealing with it. And it sucks.
They're turning BJJ into something very sexual. I see it all the time.
Well, but it's not. It's just that's what's coming across the feeds now, and it's still a solid martial system. I'm upset with it because did you not pay attention to what was happening with judo? That's why we had to be very careful. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. That's a lot of reason why some schools they stopped doing the newaza because they didn't want to deal with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Especially you got a gi on and it's gi. Your
but at least you got your pants versus wearing some tight spandex pants.
Even when you go gi-less, I mean, look, gi-less is I enjoy it. It's a different animal all the way around. Look, either you know how to throw. You can throw no matter if somebody's wearing a gi or not wearing a gi. 100%. Your approaches and your gripping, and that's what makes the difference. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, which is why wrestlers enjoy. Anybody that typically comes from wrestling absolutely loves gi-less and stuff like that because gi-less is like, okay, boom, it's not – because there are a lot of things I can do with the gi. The gi can give me more control of an arm where now with gi-less I got to really be gripping your arm, and there's just a whole different animal.
Different dynamic.
So, which I've said like 5 million times now. But, so with that being said – you still need to be diligent. You still need to, and this is why I talk about, having the rules laid down when people walk in right away. Dojo kuns and things like that. Like
etiquette.
Yeah, you got to know it. You got to make sure it's posted. Yeah, and you also, you got to encourage people to talk, see something, say something. Don't wait for it to become a thing, especially when it's two guys and something. Look, man, two guys, you don't know. You don't know if he's gay. Or if he's not gay, or he's asexual, trans, pan, queer, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're working with, and what you might think is kosher may not be kosher to the person you're working out with.
Yes.
Even just unwanted touching, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. When I'm working out with somebody, but like consent. No, well, shit, I'm at the class. Of course I'm consenting. No, but I'm still going to ask you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just assume that I can touch you. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And my daughter would say, this is newspeak. But in a way it is because we learned. But as an owner, I'm trying not to get sued.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the difference. That's the difference. Right now, people are trying to gain a lot of publicity. All right. So by using women and having them dressed a certain way, and a lot of the women know exactly what they're doing because they're loving the actual response.
They got their OnlyFans going on and stuff like that.
They love it.
And that's just a bad thing too. I mean, look, I'm all for people getting paid, making their money.
If my student was doing, no, she wouldn't be a part of my school. I mean, like, to be real, and that's just me. To each his own. If you're a student in my school and let's just say you were using my techniques and you were doing something in your own space and promoting whatever you're promoting, I'm going to be looking at you like, hey, we need to have a talk.
Yeah, we need to have a talk.
We got to have a talk.
Well, I mean, again, I don't want to be associated with that. What you do in your own personal space is great. Don't wear the gi. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And please don't let people know where you're training because, again, you might come to actually, when you were saying that, I was thinking of somebody down south that I recently met and made acquaintance with who, in her real life, she's, I wish Elizabeth from Shrinking Heads was here because think the proper term is a sex worker, but I'm almost thinking I'm saying that wrong.
Okay,
because she's not hooking or anything like that.
Right.
She's part of that industry.
Yeah, escort.
Yeah. Well, no. She's the OnlyFans kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I don't know what that classifies as. Yeah, like stripper kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's her real life. That's who she is in real life. But when she goes to a dojo, she's business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She's there to practice her art and do her thing. And it's a whole night and day. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I appreciated her sharing her information, but I didn't need to know.
Yeah, that was personal.
Yeah, I like I said, it was like one of them weird things where I don't.
She was trying to make you a fan.
I don't. I'm not gonna assume that. I'm like, but I'm like,
I'm just saying that's personal.
Yeah, but no, I don't want that. We're talking about
even though she's public
and stuff like that. Well, yeah, I mean, we're talking about what we do professionally. I guess maybe I don't know, but in real life, that's and it's but to the point when she's on the mat. She's a tactician.
Mm-hmm.
She's an assassin. Well, I call her a bully, but an assassin. and she's going to do what she needs to do, right? Because it's the art. It's what she's doing.
Right.
And the integrity is there. And then, of course, I'll circle into some of those videos I've seen of other folk doing. And all I can say is it's like I can't. Oh no! Here's a really good way of saying it. I can't point out racism, but I know it when I see it. Right? And that's how I'm going to say this. I'm like, I can't point out when someone is being, I can point out when somebody's being, I can't articulate when somebody's being sexual, but I know it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think any male, female, when we see certain things, we know it instantly as we see it, and we go, like, here's the thing. Can you open and look at that at church?
Yeah.
Right. There's the test,
yes,
right?
Yes.
If I'm in church, if I open that up, am I going to be like, ooh, put my phone away? I'm going to save that one for later.
You know it's wrong.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And I look at all forms of grappling, all forms of fighting, and when you come across certain content, you're like, I feel like she should have more than a sports bra on. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. We scrolling past that one. So my wife's looking at me like, yeah, you better be scrolling past that one.
No, but you can see the difference. So what I'm saying is right, I see women, especially in wrestling, all right, in the attire they're wearing. But, when I'm looking at women teaching technique, no, it's exactly what they're doing. They're doing a clinic, all right? Yeah. And there's nothing else but that there. Okay, and then there's the other.
Yes.
And you know what you're looking at. I'm like, why did she have to do that like that?
Ooh. And let me jump on that, man. And to the dudes out there who are looking at women tacticians that are getting it done and doing it right and making it sexual, fuck your couch. I'm like, you're trash. You are a scumbag.
Yeah.
Those
are the people you don't want on your floor.
Yeah. Don't walk into my cat. Don't stay out of my dojo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. Yes. There are folk out there who look at legitimate technique being done and sexualize it instantly. Like there was one where I think she was going into a cradle, and I think the caption was, "He's winning." Because it was a girl wrestling a dude. He's winning. And, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying? Going. Like, why are you even doing it? And they kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, they kids, man. That girl can't be no older than 16 years old. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, what? What's happening right now? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But my daughter wrestled, too, for those that don't know.
But this has always been an issue since the beginning, mainly for guys. Now you have an overwhelming amount of men training in the grappling arts, but when this whole BJJ phenomenon started happening, most guys that were doing like Kempo Karate and other different forms of Jiu-Jitsu was like, no, I'm not going to have this dude on top of me like that. No, I'm not going to be down on my back with my legs open like that. This is not an art for me, even though there's a lot of practicality and things happening there, and you need to understand these things. But because naturally, psychologically, you're looking at it sexual.
Yes.
And it messes with you. And so most people kind of shy away. I ain't grappling. I don't want to learn that.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to be rolling around sweating with another guy. You know what I'm saying? In all these different awkward positions. You know, there's no.
And it does get awkward.
Yes. All right.
Like, yeah, no, it does get awkward.
But that just shows you our psyche. All right. We were thinking that way a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. And we're still currently thinking that way now, but now we're monetizing.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, to the point, and I'm being real here, to the point you find it on porn sites. Just for people who are interested in watching that stuff in a cage or an octagon. All right? And people get entertained by that stuff.
Yeah, no, they were saying that with all the stuff going on with Epstein and all that other stuff, there was a thing that came out, and they were talking about that, like one of the two most watched porn in the United States was incest porn. Think about that.
Yep.
And little kids. When I say little kids, I'm referring to the actresses being over 18, but they are the babysitter. Yeah. Or they have the braces,
right?
And
they
the glasses.
Look young.
They look like little girls, and you got to also think to yourself. It wasn't. If I could be mistaken, but in the 2000s is when a lot of states changed their laws to consent ages for sexual consent. Mm-hmm. Think about that. In the 2000s.
Yeah, that's
you
crazy.
Know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And so like that they changed. They raised the age of consent. So that means up until that point.
Free range.
I just can't anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just can't.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so this is the world we're living in right at this time, you know? So it's very sad.
But we definitely want to make it a point to, it's just not the women. It's a lot of it is guys. But we've always dealt with this. And then, misogyny's always been a thing in the martial community. You got
to think it's majority men.
Well, yeah. Well, a lot of women will tell horror stories. You meet a lot of these female black belts out in the community, and I haven't met one yet that don't have a story to tell. Mm-hmm. We try to, and we're all trying to be better. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. I just think in the grappling arts, because, it's the liability is almost right there all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
You know what I'm saying? And
all
stuff
the
like
time.
that. Like, at least with judo, it's we're gripping gis.
And you're standing.
And we're away from each other to a degree. But, look, man, I'm dropping a body, arm comes under the... Like, there's so many different things that can go horribly wrong, even when you're keeping yourself away. Mm-hmm. But, again, this goes back to, look... It's not just with men and women. So again, that's regular. We're thinking of just men and women, straight sex, right? Well, you got the person who's gay, mm-hmm. Who may want to train,
or the person that is
non-binary. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to train, mm-hmm. and and stuff like that. And there's no questionnaire when you walk in. I don't ask you how you identify. I just look, man. You want to come train, put the work in.
Let's get on the mat.
Yeah, we get on the mat. So you always got to be conscious of those kind of things. And again, consent's everything. Good touching versus bad touching. And, there are folk out there that are just wired wrong. I don't know how to explain that, man. I don't know how to explain how. I mean, science has a way of saying, look, when you're grappling with somebody or doing anything like that, your body releases a chemical, and all that other good stuff,
and it's true.
Which is similar to what you get when you have sex, believe it or not. The endorphins that get released are similar, I guess. Not exactly, but similar.
But still, it's
stuff
there.
Like that, yeah.
You even get a little arousal. I've seen wrestlers get on the mat with hard-ons.
Yeah.
But not. It's just the energy, and knowing they're competing. It's not you. It's just they can't help with their body
releasing all of that all at once. Yeah, no.
So, and you're sitting here like, oh damn, I got to grapple with this dude, and he got a hard-on.
Yeah, no, I once. I was gonna say once. I still have my friend who I remember the first time we were at a mosh pit, and I was like, what is going on? And she was like, I can't control it. So there's that. I'm like, so there was that, right? And so, yes. Oh, I love mosh pits for anybody. Well, back in the day.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
You'd
wild.
have to ask me twice.
Yo, that's crazy work, bro. I'm not a fan of that. But
I'm like, man, listen. I always tell people I fell into rock and roll backwards. I started with death metal and then came forward. Like, they were like, what? What do you mean?
You went to hell and back.
Yeah, literally. Obituary, Cannibal Corpse. And then I found punk, Bad Brains. I'm one of them black dudes dudes that listen to heavy metal, man.
Yeah.
It's, it's black music. Stop it. There's somebody somewhere going, well, that explains his voice.
Man, I know a lot of black folks that I love rock.
No, but look, Bad Brains. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's my mic drop moment. I'm like, Bad Brains.
Yeah.
I drop the mic and walk away. And Live in Color. I'm like, come on, man.
Yep. Absolutely, a lot of
because
black
people
punk
default
groups.
to Hendrix right away, and I'm
I'm
like Parliament, even though they were funk.
Yeah.
But
put it this way: in New York City, there was a lot of black punk groups.
Yeah, no, we know. I was at a lot of those shows.
Yes. But yeah, no, these are things to explore and to talk about a little bit more because it's happening at high rates. And so we have, and it's sad when you have high-end instructors that have to shut down because of those kind of lawsuits that fall on their lap, whether they don't know how to behave themselves or, and this is something that can flip, where it wasn't bad touching, but you could be set up. And these things can happen too, and where it can become a payday. And it was like, no, you misunderstood what I was doing, this, that, and the third. And so these things are very, and it's like you got to make sure it's clear at the very beginning and discuss etiquette.
No, but this is why most academies now have cameras.
Yes.
And so you have 4 cameras.
Yes.
In different places. In places that don't have them, if I'm going to be in a questionable environment and there's no one else around, I have my GoPro and I stick it.
Yeah.
I let somebody know that, hey, look, there's a camera going on, I'm filming, boom, whatever, and stuff like that. But a lot of that, sometimes that helps.
Yeah, and some people may not allow it, but like, nah, no cameras in the school.
Yeah, you know what? But here's the thing, and I fire back with that to any instructor that thinks that way. Well, now it's your word against hers. And I'm going to tell you right now, or his.
You're going to lose.
We believe the victim. All the training out there says that there are and if we took 1,000 cases, don't get me wrong, there's that 1%, but that 1% doesn't mean the rest of them are faking. You know what I'm saying? So that's 1%, that one person that committed, it's like, no, I made it up. That one person doesn't mean that the rest of the people are lying. It just means one.
Yeah.
So that 1%, okay? So that means the rest of the time we're going to believe the victim.
We're going to, naturally.
And then, of course, if I'm on that jury, the first thing I'm going to say as an owner, think in my head, why was he behind closed doors with all the things that we know now?
Yeah.
Right? All the training, all of that stuff that's out there that's readily available. Why would he want to have himself by himself with someone without there being access? Without there, even when if a parent comes and, hey, do you mind if I leave my kid here? And even though I don't teach kids anymore, I just teach teenagers. It's just life is so much easier that way for me. With that being said, it's the same situation. Hey, Sensei, I'm going to, hey, do you mind? And if you're going to go out there and work out, and then I pull the door open. Boom, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And the way our setup is, and at least in Myrtle Beach, you can you can see in and stuff like that, so you can still see in, and the door is always cracked open.
Is it a door or one of those garage doors?
Oh, no, it's a door. It's just a door and stuff like that, so it's a regular door you can go in and out of. And now if you go to Seni Judo, which is my business, my school, oh, no, we're at a community center, and I've always loved being at a community center. Everybody said, were you ever going to go back to a commercial place? I said, well, the great thing about a community center is they keep us on our toes in general, because we had to be vetted, and we had to be background checked for them. So it wasn't just the background check for the judo and stuff like that. They had to make sure that they did their own background check, and they did the federal one, which is bigger.
And that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, it's an awesome thing. And there are other layers too. So now you got the director who handles the kids club, the kids group and stuff like that. We still handle the adults and stuff, but it's open. You've been there. We film there and stuff like that. So it's an open space, so anybody can walk through. And they got other things going on at the same time. They have violin practice happening in one room down, where the violin people have to still walk through. You know what I'm saying? It's not disrupt the class, but they still have to walk through. And it's great because, one, free advertisement, and two, yeah, it's another layer of protection.
Right, no risky behavior, none of that stuff.
And we try to be very careful. Right. But even with students on students, and that's another thing that people miss. It's not just instructors, right? It's you got to be paying attention to what your students are doing, and stuff like that. Because some of the complaints that came out, some of the cases that they're dealing with right now at different academies, is students. It was 2 teenagers, and one teenager was touching another teenager inappropriately every time they worked out. And then and the boys were talking about it, and I don't know how it came up, but eventually it found its way into court. You know what I'm saying? So now you're dealing with that. You're dealing with a suit. You weren't involved. You held no. You
No.
might not even known it was
It
happening.
happened on your grounds.
Yeah, but it happened on your grounds. Just pay attention. You know,
Yeah.
make sure your coaches or you know understand, your professors understand. Hey, you need to be paying attention.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And also on that, instructors having relationships with their students. That's
a taboo.
Yeah, that could be problematic. I mean, it's one thing if you met someone, a student, and she joined the school and you ended up getting married and having children. It was a real thing, but it's very
still a taboo.
Yeah,
that's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's
it's
dangerous
very dangerous, and that's risky behavior as well. And there's an abundant amount of that going on where instructors are actually having relationships with their students. Keep that entirely separated.
No, you can't train here.
No.
I'm like, y'all can get together, but one of you have to leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't have you both with training here.
Yeah, that will mess with politics.
Too much of a risk.
It'll mess with everything. She's getting ranked. They're not getting ranked. Everyone knows you're dating. And now it's like, what's going on?
Does she actually earn it?
Yeah.
Or is it more, she's banging sensei?
You know, and it's just all wrong.
Power dynamics,
Yeah, keep that separated. Even if it is something that you have ongoing.
Separated.
Keep it outside the school. Meet up outside the school. When you're in the school, no one should even know that y'all are together. However you want to work it, but when
you just shouldn't. You should look, man. The reason why they say you shouldn't shit where you eat. There's a reason behind that. You should not be shitting where you eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a simple thing.
Right. And it's tough for instructors. I mean, I speak for myself. I'm sure maybe for you. I mean, you have female students that come through and they're attracted to you. And they try to give you the hints, all right? But you don't take the bait. But some people fall into that trap, and they end up taking the bait. It happened to me quite a few times.
Oh,
right?
No, I'm a beast with it. Maybe it's because it's always front of mind in my mind and stuff like that, where it's just, look, I get it. We're family at the dojo. Mm-hmm. We're going to get to know each other intimately to a degree. But what I learned is there are some folk that I will know in the real world. I will deal with them in the real world, and there are other people that I will never deal with in the real world outside of the dojo and stuff like that. And I've always kept that line that way for a lot of safety, for just my own personal safety and stuff like that. So you're never too intimate with sensei and stuff like that. And there are some people that, well, that's Izzy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of how we are in that group. So there's a circle, like most. I feel like most dojos have the inner circle, the fam,
right,
and then everyone else circle. And stuff like that. Yeah, and it's like
some women join because they like you.
Yeah,
and they're trying to maneuver in, and you got to be able to catch that.
Oh no, I agree.
Speak about it immediate.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I will say that the way we safeguard ourselves in actually in judo, or in my school anyway, I hate saying just in my school, I'd say in judo anyway, is that point always is driven home pretty quick and pretty clear. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Even when we're jokey and I'm funny and I'm just, being me and stuff like that, it's always very clear. I bring it back, like things like consent. Like, oh, what? Consent, consent. I still ask you consent to touch you. You know what I'm saying? Because I am a touchy person.
Right.
Like I can have a conversation. I'm always, hey, this guy, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody's okay. We're being touched.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I have to remember and remind myself that just because I'm comfortable with just going, hey, this guy.
Some people
and they looking at me like, why you grabbing?
I can do it the first time, but you're doing it. This is the third time.
Yeah, this is the third time. I'm like, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Stop touching me.
Grappling. And sometimes, and I always got to be aware of the cues where a person, and they start kind of moving away and things like that. And but again, I can negate all of that if I keep it front of mind, consent.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And just because I got consent on the mat doesn't mean I got consent off the mat.
Right.
I have to ask for consent every time. And it seems really crazy, right? And I know there's somebody somewhere going, what the?
That's a
this
little
guy
too
talking
much.
About? Like,
it's a little too much, but it's important.
It's important. If you look, it's like Haskins Sensei talks about some of the best practices if you live your life in such a way violence misses you. And one of the key things that he says that I took away, and I state now all the time, if you take them and they become best practices, what seemed crazy to you in the beginning will not seem crazy a year from now.
Right.
It'll just be normal behavior.
Yeah.
And in fact, you'll start looking at other people like, why don't you ask for consent?
Right. You
What's the matter
bugging.
with you? Yeah, what?
You bugging.
Yo, dude, you just see him just tap that girl? He don't like himself.
Yo, listen, I be seeing some activity. Like, I be seeing trainers or coaches, you do a little drill with your student. They actually understand the technique, and they're really popping and doing it right. And then you get excited after you're done with the drill, and you smack them in the behind.
Yeah, you're like, that's right. That's how you get it.
Yeah, you smack them like, a couple of times, and it's like,
and you're like,
ooh. Maybe they receive, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing?
It's like them reels where you see that kid's head.
You know what
Or like Friday.
Yeah, imagine that. I did that to my students. I will smack them in the behind. Like, that's insane. What behavior is that? I mean, I understand it's in sports. You see it in football and basketball and things like. But I don't even think they do that much anymore.
Oh no, they still do.
They still do.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, they still.
You'll see it every now and again. Like, way to get that game, but it's always like through
it's
a
a
thigh.
culture. Yeah.
I feel like
Good,
good game. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But the smack you on the cheeks, where it lift you up a little bit too. You be like, oh damn, you almost feel like someone's, you know what?
No, I'm thinking about. Remember Key and Peele?
Yeah.
Slap ass.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Come here, Garcia. Come and get that slap.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy work for me, man. I ain't smacking no dude in the behind. I'm sorry. I don't care. That's part of that culture. I'm not smacking no dude in the behind. Yo, listen, I'll pat him on the back.
I still do the head pop. Like, I caught myself doing that a couple weeks back to Aaron. No, not more. It was longer than a couple weeks. But he did something really cool, and I was just like, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's good.
But I had to remember. But here's the
not
thing.
with everyone. Nah, you can't be doing that with everyone.
No, but here's the thing. I got all this training that says what I just did was absolutely wrong.
Yeah. Don't smack me up the back of my head.
No. It's the tap, man. I'm like, you ain't blasting somebody in the next week. That's
I know that, but it's just enough to be like.
No, but that's Kenny Marecki type stuff right there. Like.
Yo, I can accept that from my elders. When you got to be a certain age. I'll take it from a certain age. If you 60 and above, I'll eat that. I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
Kenny used to blast me into next week if I did something right, like to the point where you just wanted to keep doing it wrong.
I don't want to get licked up like that again.
He'd be like, "That's what I'm talking about."
Because that's what. I got excited one time with one of my students, and I gave like a real mean high five. I was like, "That's how you do it." And I ended up breaking the wrist of my student, and he was like, and I was like, "What happened?" My wrist. And I got too excited. Now his wrist is broken.
Yeah, see?
So
and
easy.
Again,
Gamate.
Yes. And again, I'm like, that happens. The accidents happen all the time. So
oh, Lord. But these behaviors, as we get ready to close out and all that, these behaviors are something to really tackle down because we shouldn't be carrying ourselves in this manner. I mean, when you look at what we have, especially, listen, you spent your whole life forging this for it to be taken away like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's because someone wants to challenge you, someone doesn't believe you're capable of doing what you're doing, or it could be as simple as you teaching a woman and she thought one thing and it really wasn't that. It was a misunderstanding. Or there is some friskiness happening there. There's a number of, put it this way, there are variables.
So let's, so I know we're getting close to close, but, I don't know if I hear when we say sometimes a misunderstanding, and I feel like it's something going to a conversation I had with my daughter, right? And she's doing amazing in college, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Oh, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm like, really, dude? Really? I mean, she went to school for math. Who does that?
She's very good at math.
Yeah, she really is, man. I mean, she was telling me something in class about pie and something else with more pie, and then I made the joke. I'm like, was it blueberry pie? Yeah, and she's like,
just looking at you.
Oh, dude. I got the gas. Not only was it the gas face, like I could have just felt it. Like it felt like she threw me on Uranagi at that point. Like, it was just, But see, I just lost my train of thought. No, so I did really lose my train of thought. What were we talking about?
No, we were closing on risky behavior. We were we were talking about risky behavior and whether it's consent or whether it's consensual. That's pretty much what we were talking about.
Yeah, and then I was going somewhere with dealing with my kid and just kind of.
And you lost it, but it got to come back.
Oh, there it is. I found it again. All right, so this is in reference to when somebody says misunderstanding.
Okay.
And, as all fathers do, I always give my daughter a degree of pushback when she's teaching me something or when we're talking about something. And I was an adult when I got diagnosed with ADHD. She's had it her whole life. And so folks that suffer from ADHD, we don't hear things the same. You're saying something to me, so a lot of times I'll repeat it back to you. So if I say something that's off, your response would be, "Oh, you misunderstood what I was saying," because it's a communication thing.
Right.
So to quote Uncle Roger, communication is sending a message to a receiver, and the receiver giving you feedback. Right?
Oh my God, we were kids when he was.
Oh my God, he'd kill us with that. But the point making here. We can avoid misunderstandings when we make sure that as instructors, teachers, and including students, when we're working with each other, right? Because Jutakyo, you and I, right? That we communicate what we're doing before we start to do it. And we communicate what's happening and why it's happening, right? So my daughter's point, the way she teaches, she is really big on the why. Mm-hmm. Why do you need to learn this? Why do you need to learn the circumference of a circle? Wow, I was struggling with that word today. All right, why it's important.
Right,
and to make it relevant to everything else, because that's what they do in math, right? So like, why? Think about when we were in school, we'd all be like, why am I learning geometry? When am I ever going to use this? When am I ever going to use the calculus? Come on, really? And because she's a math major and she's going to be a math professor, she's like,
you use it in everything.
Why. But most people don't tell you that. So when we think of math majors, you're like, okay, egghead. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead. You're going to talk about me about some theory, Pythagoras theorem. Yeah, whatever. Like, all I know is my brain is going to she was shocked that I knew the Fibonacci sequence.
Oh,
so,
that's dope.
Yeah, I was like, ha-ha, because your dad is awesome sometimes.
I love math. I love arithmetic.
Well, it's problem solving and stuff like that, and I think it's great. But circling back, we can have less misunderstandings in the martial community, especially as teachers, educators, and students alike, when we constantly communicate. Yes. I stress this to my students all the time. It should sound like you're all you shouldn't be talking about what you're making when you leave the dojo, but you should definitely be talking to each other when you're on the mat.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you should definitely be like, okay, what I'm feeling right here. See, I'm about to take you back and get in this position. And you think that's kind of crazy, and some people go, that don't make any sense. But it keeps the lines of communication open. And it also helps with the learning process. It connects the articulation with the movement. You understand what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And you'll be surprised how useful that is if and when you decide to teach someone your art.
Also, too, it stops. Listen, it's a filter for the keyboard warriors as well. All those people who like to talk in the background. All right. And it's like, no, just come on the mat. Let's discuss it.
No lies are told on the mat.
Let's discuss it on the mat.
No lies are told here.
Most of them, and most of them, you can tell because they have no content on their page. They're very secretive. And if you're very serious about this, I loved how you closed this. If you're very serious and passionate about what you do, hey, come to my school. Go to that university. Sit down and break bread with these individuals. Don't just stay in your own little comfort zone. Everyone wants to be complacent and in their own comfort zone. If you really love what you do, let's sit down and meld minds.
I'm digging that. That's one of those more you know. Right? That's copywritten, so I don't know if I can use it. All right. With that being said, I'm with my partner in crime, Briakola Chidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
And you've been listening to
The Martial Maze.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to be on the show or you have a question for us, feel free to reach out to us at martialmazeofficial@gmail.com. That again is marshallmaysofficial@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Be sure to check us out on YouTube as well, our Modern Combative series. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks again for listening.